Good morning, friends. Welcome. We are still on chapter 17. Lou, how are you?
I'm doing very well, and we're about to next couple episodes. We wrap chapter 17, right?
Wrap chapter 17, and then we go on to 18, which is 78 verses, but it sort of summarizes all of the whole of the Gita.
78.
So I'm excited to get there. But this chapter 17 gave a lot of very practical pointers, which I think should be useful to most people. So, did you have anything that you wanted to bring up, Lou?
No, I'm just
No.
78 verses. I was just kind of stunned by the 78 verses in chapter
Yeah,
18.
right. Very long chapter.
Yeah.
So we are going to do in this episode verses 20, 21, and 22 of chapter 17. And these three verses explain the different kinds of dan. Dan is, as we mentioned before a few times, dan is charity or gift giving. And it is an essential part of us doing this so that we quieten our mind. So a lot of people don't understand what charity is for. A lot of people think, well, if I give, then God will reward me and give me back something, or God will reward me a place in heaven because I gave to some poor people. It doesn't work like that. Yes, there is some good karma that is associated with your giving, but as you will see in these verses, you don't get because you did good to somebody else. What happens is, in order to get to the self, to Brahman, to become self-realized, you need to calm your mind. And one of the ways in which one calms one's mind, stops the noise inside with all the constant twittering in your mind, is to do dan or charity or give. And it's not just money. Most people misunderstand thinking that it's just money that you have to give. You can give of your energy. You can give of your physical body by helping somebody. You can give of your emotions and show love and gratitude and kindness. You can give of your knowledge. You can teach somebody. You can give them respect. There's a lot of ways of giving this. So the first verse, which is verse 20, talks of sattvic, equanimous kind of dan or charity. The second verse, verse 22, is rajasic dan. And the last one, verse 22, sorry if I misspoke, 20, 21, and 22. The last one, 22, is tamasic, 21 is rajasic. So let's do 20 first. Dan should be given, charity should be given, gifts should be given with the attitude that it is my duty to do this, it's my obligation. Some religions say some portion of your earnings should be given without reservation, without thinking, well, what am I getting out of it? That's the only way to do it. It should be given with expecting nothing in return, either from the person to whom it is given or from somebody else that says, oh, well, you gave to my cousin, therefore here's something back. No, you should have no expectation of getting anything back from anybody. But the dan should be done intelligently. It should be given, if somebody's hurt, for instance, and they're lying on the road and they're bleeding, and you're in a rush to get to work, and your boss has said, unless if you come late one more time, you won't have a job. And the person's there, and you say, you know what? By the time I finish work, I'll come back and I'll help this person. It doesn't work that way. That person needs help at that time. You need to help him then and there, not later on. If you want to give warm clothes, you don't give it to somebody who's living on the equator. You give warm clothes to somebody who's living in a cold country. So it's the right time when the person needs it, not afterwards. It's the right place. So wherever the geographic conditions are, if you want to give warm clothes, you give it to somebody in the winter in a place that gets cold, not a place that never gets cold. And the right person. The gift that you're giving should not lead to the destruction of the person to whom you're giving. So if an alcoholic says, come on, give me some money for me to go and get alcohol, and that's just a bad example, because if a person is going through DTs, He'll die if you
Yeah.
don't give him something. But I'm not talking about that. And in general, a drug addict, an alcoholic, a terrorist, these kind of people, if you give them money, it's only going to lead to their destruction in the long run. So a person not in control of his senses, his intellect, should not be furthered along his bad ways by giving him money. Keep in mind that when we die, our money doesn't go with us. Your money will go out of your hands at some point anyway. So you might as well give it and get the benefit of doing this. So again, it's not just money. I keep saying money, but I think you have to get clearly in mind that it's your energy, your talents, things that you can do with your hands. If you're a carpenter, if you're a physician, your knowledge, you can share all of that. So it is obligatory for you to do this. You should think to yourself, I ought to give, and that's why I'm giving. To somebody who needs it and deserves it, benefits by it. And the donor, you, have no intention of getting in anything out of it. Let me see if I've forgotten anything. Right time, right place, right person. And you don't want anything back in return. And the person, it warrants a lot of discussion. Sorry, Lou, were you saying something?
Don't lead to the person's destruction. Don't contribute to their problems.
Correct. Okay, so that is verse 20. Verse 21 is a rajasic dan, giving a gift while expecting something in return, or giving reluctantly, is rajasic dan. Now, so many people I have heard, and I'm probably guilty of this myself, to say, you know what, I went through so much trouble to get this. I shopped, I took time, I spent my energy, thought process, got this wonderful gift. I didn't even get a thank you from this person.
Yeah.
That negates the gift that you just gave, negates it in terms of giving you mental peace. So the whole purpose of this dan and charity is so that you get mental peace. The noise that we have inside from our vasanas, the dirt that is considered our desires, causes a lot of noise inside, and we don't get mental peace. Therefore, you cannot meditate, you cannot think quietly, and you cannot get to the self. One way of getting there is by doing dan, and by having rajasic dan, where you're thinking, what am I getting in return? Is the person going to thank me? Is he going to be grateful to me? Is he going to be obliged? All of that negates your thought, and you're expecting something in return. Then it's just business. I'm giving you $5,000, and then when you're done with your car, you're going to give your car back to me because I gave you $5,000. That's just vyavahar, or business. It's a transaction. It's a trade. That's not dan. You give money to a school or college and say, put my name up on a board. That's asking for something in return. Anytime you're giving something hesitatingly, say, I don't know if I want to give, that alone, with your mind attached to what you might be giving, that negates this, and you still have the noise inside. What are you asking for in return? Not necessarily a car, not necessarily cash, but something in kind, a favor that he or she does you, political favors. You want name, you want fame, you want prestige, you want honor. All of that, as long as you want it, it serves no purpose in terms of your charity or your dan. And the last one, verse 22, is tamasic, gift given at the wrong place, at the wrong time, to an unworthy person, or with insult, is considered tamasic. I have seen in India, when growing up, people do this dan because they think, well, I'm going to get something out of it. God will reward me. So they go, and there's people lined up, poor people who are sitting there with plates in front of them, hungry because they haven't eaten. And this person has got a load of rotis, which is like an Indian bread. And they just go and they just throw it like they're throwing it to a dog, just throw it in the plates with no respect. That's an insult. That is a tamasic dan. Giving a gift at the wrong place, at the wrong time, with an insult. Any one of these, it doesn't have to be all of them, with insult, is considered tamasic. Giving to an unworthy person is also a tamasic dan, without respect to the person. Such dan, tamasic dan, does not help us in calming our minds. So this, I hope, helps to clarify the what we have been thinking in terms of charity or giving or dan. Because first time I heard it, it was like a refreshing kind of thing that I said, oh, wow, I didn't know all of this. And I hope you feel the same way. If you give this some thought, go back, listen to not just this episode, but previous episodes to say, what is the purpose of dan? What is the purpose of yajna, sacrifice? What is the purpose of tapas? And you will see, if you can appreciate what we've been talking about, you will see that it helps to calm your mind. Your mind becomes calm, laser sharp. You become a better person. Your mind becomes more focused on getting to the higher. And I hope this helps you. So that's, we've gotten up to verse 22. A few more verses and we're done with chapter 17. So I hope you will join us next time and the next episode. Right, Lou?
Yes, we'll see you next episode when we wrap chapter 17.
Bye-bye.